morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, wherever you are. Bona Jonata. I hope you're having a pleasant day and welcome to today's sessions. And the first thing we are starting with is a recap. Okay, thank you very much. It's good to have you back here. I'm going to go ahead with a presentation, a recap of what transpired on Tuesday. And the recap for Tuesday is focusing basically on a number of issues that we discussed. So we're looking at mobilizing and directing financing resources for water supply and sanitation, because money means everything. Money is critical in the context like ours when you're dealing with resources and you're dealing with water supply. So just remember, this session is being recorded. Your participation automatically means that you've granted permission for us to go ahead. And if you do not want to be recorded, please, you are allowed to leave the session now. The recording will be made available after the session for reference sake, so I may be able to run quickly through some of the elements in the presentations. Please turn off your camera and mute yourself whilst not speaking. And if you have mobile telephones, please be like me, ensure that they are on silent. It is critical that they are on silent. The other thing is, again, the reason we insist on turning off your camera is so that we maintain that etiquette, because people are working from home. We do not want any other disturbances. So then we are moving on. Thank you, Matthias. The presentation is projected. We are moving on. Thank you. Yes, we did talk about, okay. Sorry, we've lost it. Yeah, fine. Fantastic. We did talk about a number of issues. Understanding the political economy for water infrastructure is critical. So you have a schematic there that basically is looking at potential interactions and cooperations going forward and how stakeholders need to work together to realize the transition. And as you can see, you will note there are certain elements that need to be focused on or understood in terms of how utilities work with local banks, and how national governments also can work with DFIs using different models and different systems that can be applied. Next slide, please. Yeah, the takeaway, the session outcome is that we need a transition to local currency financing of investments in water and sanitation, so that we can accelerate or move quickly towards the SDG number 6. And the next step is to have a strategic agenda into practice to change the incentives of DFIs, governments or treasuries, utilities and local financing institutions to increase lending and borrowing in local currency. To achieve this, we did agree that we need to combine, the stick mandatory requirements with carrots, that is incentives or rewards for institutions and individual people to shift financing flows and instruments. That is very important. As we are moving on. And then we did talk about how DGIs and GIZ are committed, to further engage on that particular agenda. We have fantastic presenters of a session that was moderated by Katarina, and then we have the presenters there that you can refer to afterwards. But this is exciting when you're talking about tracking down and learning from smooth financial and technical cooperation cases. But then, yes, what did we learn? Says there is need for high-level leadership and commitment with clear shared vision between national government, including finance ministry and treasury, and agencies involved in financial and technical assistance. We also did talk about the need for coordination and harmonization platforms at country level with the right people to have the finance discussions beyond infrastructure, and also including governance and the regulatory functions, systems approach, to finance. So with the systems approach to financing, that is critical. What's missing? 3 past investment amounts, and that's not the whole picture. So we are moving on. So the other issue that also needed to be looked at is financial instruments. We need, financial instruments that focus on improvements outcomes of service providers. Capital expenditure instruments with technical assistance are the most powerful in terms of impact that is achieved. We also talked about financial wizards that can navigate the complexities, of different institutions and their instruments, but without the high-level commitment and leadership, they won't go any further, they won't go far. There are issues that we need also to, subsidies must be viewed through an equity lens, rethink and reform. What we found, these are government spending less on water supply and sanitation subsidies. Then we also did look at average percentage of subsidies that are captured by the wealthiest 20% of the population compared to average percentage covered by the poorest 20%. So some of the considerations that were made. But also we said, these subsidies that are viewed through an equity lens, you'll be looking at strategies to improve the design of the subsidy. And we're saying you can use alternative approaches to improve targeting. Like common methods often don't benefit the poor, they lag behind, they are left behind. So we say make subsidies conditional on performance or conditioning, on transparent and the verifiable indicators which would reduce inefficiencies. We also did talk about decoupling subsidies from service charges and other things. So those are some of the elements that we did discuss. And then we said that WASH needs funding. Funding needs innovation. We can't just lag behind and simply relax. There were highlights from Uganda, where we're talking about innovative financing mechanisms for urban sanitation. So financing mechanisms are key to bridging the gap left by inadequate public investments in household sanitation. We have seen that experience even here in Zambia. Next point, please. Sanitation for Millions has developed WASH financing concepts that can work through market-based models. We can't just be talking about social issues and without borrowing from the market-based models. Involvement of private entrepreneurs in providing on-site sanitation ensures market development and sustainability of product and service provision. That is critical. We did have that fuzzy kind of arrangement and discussion where participants did throw in a number of issues when we're talking about innovative financing mechanisms for urban sanitation, closing the gap, and many concepts did come up, and you can refer to them anytime you would like to see what came up from the conversations. Governments, pay your water bills. One of the tragedies, like even here in Zambia, the experience is that governments lag behind, they have huge debts. Yeah, so what are some of the reasons? Sometimes they'll say, no, bills are not received, or funds were diverted to other uses, or they'll say because we are a public service provider, or no action was taken at all. The reasons that are given for governments not paying are many. So you can refer again to that particular presentation to see the detail. But we are saying, please, governments, pay your water bills if water utilities are going to be sustainable. Next, please. Government institutional areas contribute significantly to the financial and operational challenges faced by utilities, directly impacting on their ability to provide adequate services. That is known. Someone always pays. When governments don't pay, who pays? It's the people. This is an issue of willingness, priorities, integrity, and long-term thinking, not myopia. Thinking today, we need to think about the future. Utilities must improve systems to facilitate payments, and governments must ensure payments given priority. No negotiations there. Let's move on. Simple financing mechanisms are the way to go, but one-size-fits-all solutions do not exist in this world. That I know for sure. Then we talked about results-based contracts for rural water services, delivering reliability, for 100 million people by 2030. The model that is presented there, model 2019 result-based payments. So you can see the model there. We can speak to it. You can make reference to it, but let's deal with the detail. We said establishing the Uptime Catalyst Fund as a UK non-profit. That's another case analysis where they secured about £100,000 to pilot results-based contract design beginning October 2020. The pilot phase targeting about $5 million over 4 years and funding services for about 1 million people on an annual basis. Yeah, so fantastic. So now we get to this particular element where we are looking to a presentation by Anna Katarina Honich, and Matthias is going to give the screening for us. Matthias, the screening, please.
An important aspect of integrated water resources management is that it mediates potential conflicts and facilitates the negotiation over the question who can use what type of quantity of water for what purpose. It thus requires strong institutions, and it's our role also to contribute to these institutions. But there's also a democratic exercise basically built into the facilitation of negotiation processes over water.
Thank you very much, Dr. Anna Katarina Honich, for that particular quote of the day. Overview of today's sessions with comment. But today's sessions, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, is exciting. The nexus and beyond. Risk reduction across the stakeholder landscape. That's what we are looking at today. And please just remember, we'll be looking at cities and their watersheds towards integrated urban water resilience. You'll be looking at integrating IWRM and EBA for climate resilient water management. There will be aquatic species to zoonotic diseases, significance of freshwater biodiversity, how water stewardship enables sustainable growth, evidences and case studies will be showcased today. Water energy strategic planning, opportunities and climate action. There will be water, food and energy nexus and resources for peace. Quite a packaged, full, exciting day today. Today is going to be another fantastic, well-designed day. Let's enjoy it. I welcome you. Please participate, ask questions, and let's do it together. Living in exceptional times, water for exceptional times. Every drop counts. See you in the sessions. Thank you.